Back again, guys. So we have now something showing in this route page. So we need to do something. So let's go back here into the console and let's cancel this using Control C. So we need to create a migration that is going to allow us to create a table inside a database, which we haven't created yet, but we will do so in a few minutes. And the controller, which is going to provide us the ability to manage or CRUD functionality. Okay, so in order to create this, we're going to say PHP artisan. Every command starts with PHP artisan. We're going to say make in order to make a new what? A new model. Okay, the model is going to be called post. Okay, usually is with a capital P, and we create a migration with that. It's going to create the model of the post and the migration, which is going to contain the bare bones or the settings that is going to allow Laravel to create a table inside MySQL. So let's hit enter, and this takes just a few seconds. Okay, so let's wait a bit. Sometimes it kind of books and it stays there, but let's wait. And this should be on database migrations, and we have the migration here. As you can see, we have this schema create post, and this is going to be the name of the table that is going to be created inside the MySQL. So just give me a second in order to get that. As I said before, the only thing that I quite don't like about this is the all that we need to do in order to create something. Okay, all the configuration and all that. So let me just go to database migrations, and we're going to add some information into this. Okay, this is kind of okay. Let's just leave it like that. That should work anyways. So as I said, inside MySQL and inside a database, we're going to create a new post table. Okay, which is going to have the next properties, the ID and the timestamps, but we can add the properties, sorry, that we need. So we're going to say table, because this is a table, and say a string title. In order to add a title, a table text, we're going to use a text here because this allows us to add more content than a single or a simple string, sorry. And the table string cover. We will see later how to handle files, so don't worry too much about this. So these are the properties that we need. We need an ID. It's going to store the timestamp, of course, the string, the title, which is going to be a string, the text, that is going to be content, and a cover, which is going to be a string. So we just save this, and we have here, in order to drop the table, okay, if we want to do so. Okay, so this kind of, okay, it took a little bit, but right now it's done. So now we have the information here that we need for the database, but we are going to use a controller right now. So we're going to say PHP artisan make controller, and the controller name is going to be, let's say, posts, and yeah, okay, controller created successfully. This one should be on no migration database, no app, HTTP controllers posts. Okay, so this is our controller, what is going to allow us to have the functionality that we require in order to create the CRUD, you know, the CRUD service. So let me just go to that. So I said we have a ton of files, and something that it took me a bit in order to understand Laravel, okay, before, is that you need to be searching for the files and moving back and forth through all this, and it's something that takes time in order to get used to that. But I hope that's why I'm not going. Oh, we go here, we go here. I'm just going to follow, a route in order what we need to do, so you can have that idea stuck in your head, and you say, okay, we need to go, we need to create the model, the controller, and go to HTTP app HTTP controllers to find the controller, and in database migrations to find the migrations. Okay, the model is not something that we're going to use right now because we're not going to set any kind of relationship. Even though it's February 14, we are not going to do that. Okay, so we need to do something here, which is, okay, use the app. This is, okay, post, but we actually require our model here in order to write inside the table that soon we will create. So you can see it's in app. It should be okay. So this is the model. You can see a post extend model. So that is what we, okay, so this is done. What we're going to import here, and post, okay, let's just and as we move forward with Laravel, we're going to start using all the other resources. Okay, so don't worry too much about that. We have the blade. So now what we need to do is, since we have this posts controller, we're going to add a new function. That's why I didn't generate this using the generator. You can generate a controller with all the resources. So we're going to say public, because you can create actually all the functions you need here without doing that. So it's better for you to understand that and then just move on to use the generator. So post, okay, see, this is not going to work because we don't have that. So we're going to say return view, and you remember that on web PHP we have this route that is returning this view index, but we don't want to work like this. We need to set a controller, and we want the controller to give us the information we need in order for this to work. So what we are going to do is, okay, let's remove this, all this function, and you remember we just created a controller, so let's use that controller. Post at index. Okay, so we have this post, and in order to get the function we're going to use the at symbol. Okay, and what this at index does is returns the view index. Okay, I forgot to add that, and let's add a semicolon, not there but at the end, and save this. Then below here we need to get the routes that we are going to work with. So we are going to say route that resource. So right now, okay, right now let's do this. Let's just, and let's see if this works. So let's see. Okay, sorry about that. PHP artisan serve to run the server. Okay, forgot. And now you can see we have that, even though we don't have here what we want to add inside the main route, but it's actually referencing the post controller. So this is the name of the controller, and the index, which is the function inside, which is returning the view. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so let's actually do something. Let's cancel this, and let's say PHP artisan, I think it's route list, something like that. Okay, we have this list of routes that we have in this application. So right now we only have the API user, okay, but we need to set something in order for that to work. But we don't have any other route now, and the routing that we are going to use is the next. So we're going to say route dash dash resource, and here we say the prefix of the routes. So every route is going to be post something. And what we need to do here, I know this is kind of awkward, this is kind of weird, because I'm using the same name, unfortunately, but it's the post controller. So let me just add this here. So we're going to say route prefix as the first no prefix as the first parameter inside this resource method, and the next one is the controller name. Okay, and that is just it. So if we go back here and run the route list, you can see that we generated a new set of routes using the post prefix. So you can see post index, post store, post create, post show, and this is something that is generated, and we're going to follow what they give us here. Okay, kinda we can do things differently, but this gives us a boilerplate in case you want to use that, and you're just going to say, for example, post. The post controller edit function is going to go to post the ID and edit. The destroy is going to be a post and the ID, and so forth. But you will need to set the functions as they code it here. Okay, I hope you can see my mouse. That's why I'm going to select this. So this is going to be like the name of the function that you're going to create inside that controller. In this case, the post controller. So let's go back and serve the application again. So we have most of the things working right now, except for the migration, but we're going to do that in the next video. So see you in the next one.